Hey Simmers, welcome to part 2 of my Basemental Gangs Mod series. In part 1, my sim Quentin started the Newcrest Thugs and I played through gang leader skill levels 1 through 6. In part 2, I'm gonna play levels 6 through 10 until my sim maxes out their gang leader skill. Hopefully you did watch part 1 because I kind of went over the basics, so I am starting here where I left off. And part 2 definitely does get a bit more interesting. I learned so much and had so much fun playing with this mod. Hopefully you do too. Hopefully you enjoy this video, and if you do, please let me know by hitting the like button. If you have something to say, let me know in the comments, and for more content, please subscribe. Okay, so if you watched any of my Basemental Drugs videos or part 1 of Basemental Gangs, then you are familiar with my sim Quentin. Quentin is a drug dealer and a gang leader. Quentin is the Don of the notorious Newcrest Thugs gang. And when we left off in part 1, he had just opened a gang headquarters. Owning a gang headquarters does require the Get to Work pack, and it's just a place basically for your sim to hang out and sell drugs. So Quentin has already had some customers come through, and his right-hand man just hit him up with an opportunity. He says, a rapper called Tubba Sharks wants to borrow some of your crew members for a music video to gain street cred. Okay, so we are going to take Jordan and Tubba up on their opportunity. So we can do that by clicking on our right-hand man, Jordan Cottrell, and then under Gang and Opportunities, meet with Tubba, and he will set the meeting up. And this kicked off a gold event, and Tubba is walking in the door. I feel like Tubba needs a makeover. He is a little goofy looking for a rapper, like, don't y'all think? But anyway, I'm not going to show the entire interaction with Tubba because I did it wrong. I just have to admit that I did this wrong. Tubba seemed really interested in being flirtatious with Marissa Tracy, but other than that, I did not figure out for a while that I needed to interact with Tubba on the gang menu. I kept trying to be his friend and looking for friendly interactions when I really needed to be under the gang menu. And I figured this out when it was almost time for the meeting to end, so I did not have time to do whatever it was I needed to do with Tubba. So if you happen to encounter Tubba, make sure that you, after, having a few friendly interactions, that you go under the gang menu and do those interactions. Because rumor has it that you can make some money dealing with him. Quentin is not, because time is about to run out and he did not accomplish the goals. And I don't think Tubba was too impressed. Quentin just got a silver medal, so I don't really consider that a success. And unfortunately, things really just got worse. Quentin went to sleep and the SWAT team showed up. And I really have no idea why they're here because nobody was committing a crime. He just met up with a rapper. So why they showed up, there was no drugs being sold or anything. And luckily our bartender Yumi kind of stalled them, but Akito, he just panicked and kept running in and out. Nobody even warned Quentin. I just happened to be filming the front of the building and saw the SWAT team. And the thing is, I'm not gonna let my sim go to prison. So I hit the pause button real quick and I'm gonna have him travel because why would I let him stay here? If your sim can actually escape if they're not in handcuffs yet. And he is a criminal at this point, so why would he turn himself in willingly? He's gonna run. So hopefully we don't get caught slipping some other time because clearly they are on that ass. And look at them just over there thinking that they're just gonna have the bust of their life. They just think that this is gonna be like life-changing, career-changing, but no, Quentin made it home. He outran the feds and he's gonna lay low for a second now. He was so happy to see both of his boos, Michaela and Elena. I don't know though, Elena looked like she's, it's a little shade going on with her. Even though Quentin is at home trying to lay low, the hustle does not stop. His gang members are still showing up. Rocky just showed up and said the cops chased him down, so he was not able to succeed with his last mission. And that totally reminded me, I still have not bribed the police. If y'all watch my video, I talked about this in the last one. Quentin needs to bribe his police, so he's gonna invite his right-hand man over, because it is really getting hot in the streets of Newcrest right now. So Jordan showed up, and we're gonna click on gang and bribe the police, because it's really about time that we bribe the police. He is having problems left and right. You have just bribed the police. The investigation is still ongoing, but this should at least decrease the risk of surprise visits by the police, and your connections down at the station might give you a heads up on incoming SWAT raids. It is recommended that you continue to bribe the police and launder money regularly. Okay, they have finally been bribed, and Quentin's very first drug customer, Marisol Santiago, just showed up at the door pregnant. Quentin is not about to sell anything to her, but I'm more interested in finding out who her baby's daddy is. Who is Marisol pregnant by? Because she has been loving the crew, so I need to know. So we're going to give her a little paternity test through MC Command Center. Wow, she's pregnant by Akito with 2 male babies. Akito and Marisol are having twins. Now, she picked the worst one in the crew to have a baby by, and she's freaking out now. Oh my God, like, she picked the worst one. He is the laziest, most disloyal gang member. She's gonna have issues. She's gonna be alone. Quentin doesn't even want to hear it. He's about to go take a nap. But not for long, because Dominic showed up with good news. At least his mission went smooth as butter, and he came through with some money. Quentin is so paranoid though, all he can think about is getting raided again. So I had him check his phone to see if okay, so when you bribe the police and you can't bribe them for a while, that is grayed out. So he has to bribe the police on his phone and through the right-hand man. So Quentin just dropped $20,000 on bribing the police. I think the phone is more for the drugs, and bribing through the right-hand man is for the gang activity. But he's gonna do both. I mean, you gotta pay the cost to be the boss. And bribing the police really does not clear you or make you above the law. It just kind of gives you a heads up if you're getting ready to be raided. But anyway, it is Harvest Fest, and Dominic actually just had an unsuccessful mission as well. Quentin just continued to enjoy Harvest Fest and lay low. Apparently, Elena and Michaela are sick of him and his shenanigans, because they just ate dinner and then decided to go upstairs to bed without him. Back on the grind, even on Harvest Fest for Quentin, his right-hand man just hit him up again and said he stumbled upon an opportunity to set up a deal with some Salvadorian business partners. Should I arrange a meeting? Sure, because he's not about to get any action at home, so why not? Drug lord Hector Rodriguez and Pequeña Cajones just showed up. Who has an enforcer named Pequeña Cajones? Really? Okay, so anyway, this meeting is kind of like the other events. It's a gold event. Once you introduce yourself and get acquainted with this dealer, you can buy drugs under the gang menu. And even though he has better prices than local dealers, you can get the best prices on coke by going to Selva Dorada. In this case, we're just gonna buy weed because he really needs some. So he does have better prices on weed than anything else he's seen. So that's what he's gonna focus on. And this time he did complete the goals, and he did get a gold medal. Quentin went home and got some rest. It's the next day, and Akito just came through with some BS excuse about not being able to complete his last mission. And he was saved from being reprimanded because our connection down at the station just informed us that there is a raid incoming and we need to stash our drugs. So if this happens, your sim needs to click on the furniture, like cabinets, bookshelves. I think they can store it in desks. I don't know, whatever they can store it in, they need to do it 10 times. And once that is complete, you have successfully completed the Stash Drugs event. So he earned a gold medal, but that does not stop a raid from happening. A couple of hours after stashing drugs, there was an electrical failure, and During this electrical failure, the SWAT team showed up to do a raid. So I don't know if stashing the drugs is going to help at all, but I am not about to have Quentin stick around and find out if it saves him or if he still gets arrested after stashing drugs. And the audacity, why is he over here just lighting the fireplace? How are you just gonna walk in there and light the fireplace? Well, you know, I had to hit the pause button. And I am going to have Quentin travel because, again, we are not sending Sims to prison in this game if we can help it. I'm trying to understand why they never do anything when they see the cops coming or when they hear the cops coming. They just kind of sit around, but not on my watch. So he is about to travel. This time he's going to go to the gang headquarters instead of from the gang headquarters. And as soon as he pulled up, I made sure that he's checking to make sure he's good with bribing the police. And I'm also about to have him launder money because he hasn't done that yet. So I don't know if that's why the feds are on him the way that they are, but it seems like they're not on him any less than they were before bribing them. So maybe money laundering will help. I don't know how often he needs to launder money, but I'm definitely about to make sure he does this frequently. And he's gonna lay low with his customers a little bit because I don't know if he's doing too much too fast or what exactly is going on here. So Quentin has the opportunity to meet with Tubba again. So we're gonna try this again since I know now to use the gang menu. So we're gonna go ahead and have Jordan set up a meeting with Tubba. I'm not gonna show this whole meeting. I'm just gonna show what happens when you actually do use the interactions under the gang menu. And mind you, I'm not showing you all of the events and things that happen with this mod because if I did, I would be making this video forever. And there's some things you just have to learn on your own. But like I said, I had a lot of fun doing this. So there was a lot of gameplay involved in this, which is why it takes me so long to make videos. Because I mean, I just want to have fun playing The Sims. I'm not trying to make my Sims about YouTube. My YouTube is about The Sims. Okay, off my soapbox, I was able to thank Tubba for coming. He said he looks forward to working with us and wanted to give us a little something, and he gave us $35,000. So that is what a successful meeting with Tubba looks like. So Quentin is feeling good and confident from having a successful meeting with Tubba, and this time he actually got a gold medal, but there is some other business he needs to attend to. He needs product, so he took a little trip to Selva Dorada, and I'm not going to show the whole trip to Selva Dorada or the process because I have done this in past videos, but I just wanted y'all to see the difference in price. So if you recall, the dealer that came to the headquarters was a little bit more expensive than traveling to Selva Dorada. So that's why I have my sim take these trips, and again, I don't show y'all everything because you don't need to see the same things over and over again. But this is how I have Quentin keep up his coke supply. And your sim can pretty much work from anywhere if they are a gang member. Clients and their gang members will show up anywhere they go, returning from missions. And Aikido just showed up in Selva Dorada and said that he returned from his drug pushing mission. So let's see if Aikido came all the way to Selva Dorada with good news. And he didn't. He said the same thing again about it fell out of his pocket when he walked down to the park. This time he needs to be reprimanded because this is just getting ridiculous. And from what I've read on this mod, there is a loyalty system and it's hidden, and the gang members with more loyalty points will do better. Apparently Aikido's must be bad, so I'm really getting tired of it. Do we need to fire him? Because this is just getting ridiculous. I mean, he's full of it. He always has an excuse, and the only reason Quentin keeps him around is because he has babies on the way. On another note, Quentin did level up later on that day after returning from Selva Dorada. He is now a leader rank level 7. He can now arrange sit downs with rival gangs by talking to his right hand man. Okay, so in order to have a sit down with a rival gang, you actually have to have a rival gang. So we're gonna let Quentin get some rest, but I'm gonna go ahead and create an entire rival gang. So we are going to take it to the mean streets of San Myshuno, home of the notorious 15th Street Gang, the rival gang of the New Crest Thugs. Now, if you did watch part 1, then you probably remember that a sim needs to be a level 10 in any drug dealing skill to become a gang leader. So in this case, we're going to cheat both the gang leader skill and the drug dealer skill. Okay, so not only did I have to create sims for an entire rival gang, I also built, or I converted, the Waterside Warble lot into the 15th Street Gang headquarters. So the 15th Street Gang is not the focus of this story. I'm just creating them for Quentin's story. But when I'm done making this video, I'm definitely going to go back and play with them because I spent a lot of time creating them. So the 15th Street Gang is run by the notorious Battle Brothers. We have our leader, Demetrius Battle, wearing the blue jacket, and his right-hand man, who is also his twin brother, DeMarcus Battle. So I will say the 15th Street Gang is nothing like the New Crest Thugs. They are not like Quentin, who is a lover, not a fighter. They choose violence all the time. So let me introduce y'all to the founder, Demetrius Battle, and show you how it all started. Okay, so if you just wanted to start a gang and start playing this and hire employees and kind of skip levels, this is how you would go about doing it. I'm gonna first cheat Demetrius's drug dealing skills. It could be any drug, but there are specific Basemental Gangs cheats for every drug dealing skill. So I am gonna cheat his pill dealing skill, and I did put these up on the screen in part 1, and of course if you need to see them closer, feel free to zoom in and you can see the cheats. They're also on the Basemental Gangs website, but they are specific for each substance. So he's maxed out his pill dealing skill. I'm also going to cheat his cannabis dealing skill to give Quentin a little competition since he does sell cannabis. And Quentin does have the pill dealing skill, he just doesn't really deal pills. Okay, so Demetrius is now level 10 weed dealer and he's gonna sell MDMA as well, and I'm gonna have him start his gang now. So he is going to start the rival gang of the New Crest Thugs, which is the 15th Street Gang. The 15th Street Gang originated on the 15th Street in San Myshuno. It is the first multiracial, multi-ethnic street gang in the area. They are notorious for their violence and subcultural moral code. So I tried to stick with that theme while creating gang members, and I'm gonna give a brief introduction to the gang members, but before that, I'm gonna go ahead and cheat Demetrius's gang leader skill for the 15th Street Gang. I'm using the UI Cheats extension mod to do this. You could also use MC Command Center, but I'm doing this because I want Demetrius to be able to hire enforcers, a right-hand man, and also open a gang headquarter. So Demetrius is now a level 6 gang leader of the 15th Street Gang, and I'm gonna go ahead and introduce the crew. So for gang members, we have Salim Benali, who is of San Myshuno. We also have Victor Zapata, who happens to be the boyfriend of Demetrius and DeMarcus's little sister, Star Battle. We have Alexis Strong, who is the girlfriend of DeMarcus Battle. And all of these gang members except Salim live in the same apartment complex in San Myshuno, which is the old salt house that I replaced with apartments. We also have Christian McGregor, who is an enforcer, and also the only family man. He's the only one that lives with his wife and his twin boys and baby girl. The rest of them are all single. So this is another enforcer, Sal Rossi, who is pretty much a loner and lives by himself. And of course, there is Demarcus, Demetrius's brother and right-hand man. So I kind of threw the gang headquarters together for the 15th Street gang because they're not my main gang here. So I did use the Waterside Warble building in San Myshuno as their gang headquarters. And I wanted it to reflect who they are, since they are violent. I did give them kind of some jail cells in the bottom. I made theirs a little bit less bougie than Quentin's, because even though Quentin is a gangster, he is a little bit bougie. These gangsters are not bougie, they are just gangsters. And so there's a little bit less decoration, and you know, it's a little bit different, even though they do have a nice kitchen. Anyway, I left the bottom of the Waterside Warble kind of the same, which is a karaoke bar, because it's kind of a takeover. I didn't want to change it up because it's like they just took over the building and made it their headquarters. Plus, I really just didn't have time for all that. I did what I could with the time that I had. So I even went as far as having the gang meet up for the very first time just so that they could get acquainted with each other. Of course, I had them go to the strip club. And I was hoping that they might run into the rival gang just to see what happens at the strip club, but really they just enjoyed themselves at the strip clubs. Enough about the 15th Street gang. It is back to Quentin, and we are about to arrange a sit down with Quentin and the rival gang. I just had Quentin bribe the police, and I'm having him launder money, so hopefully that will keep the feds off his back. So now I'm gonna have Jordan set up a meeting with the rival gang. So you do that by clicking on your right-hand man, and under gang, you'll have a new interaction that says rival gang. So we are currently at war with the 15th Street gang, so we are gonna have to see how this goes. This will be the first time that Quentin and Demetrius meet face to face. And we have the choice to bury the hatchet or threaten the rival leader. So Demetrius is in the building, so we are going to introduce ourselves as usual, and then we get interactions under the gang menu. So because I don't want to bore you with a bunch of interactions, I will tell you that this meeting started off nice. Quentin tried to be nice, he tried to be diplomatic, but then the options just kept coming up that weren't so nice, and he clicked on them, and it didn't seem like Demetrius really liked it. So at the end of the day, Quentin just chose violence, and he chose to threaten Demetrius. Clearly, Demetrius is not going to take well to being threatened, and he said, "Your insolence will cost you. You have not seen the last of us." So Quentin just pissed off the 15th Street gang. He did get a gold medal though, and I don't know what the future holds, but the war is not over. But on to bigger and better things. Jordan Cottrell just hit Quentin up and let him know that a sketchy politician wants a sit down with him at a nearby park. He needs help with a problem. He says, "Be wary though, I don't completely trust this guy." Well, I don't know what's not to trust, but we're going to take our chances and have Jordan set up the meeting. So under opportunities, we're going to sit down with this politician, because Quentin just needs protection from the feds, and maybe the politician can help with that. So we are going to go ahead and take our risk here. I wish that the right-hand man gave more information about what it is he doesn't trust about this guy. I guess he's just getting bad energy, but we'll see. All right, so Quentin just pulled up to the ice skating park in Newcrest, and the corrupt politician, Matthew Wiseman, is there. So we are going to introduce ourselves and see what it is that Matthew wants and what he's talking about. So as usual, once you get a little friendship with your associate, you can click on them, and under the gang menu, you will have some interactions. In this case, we have listen to problem. So we're gonna listen to Matthew's problem and see what he's asking for. And he said, "I got in touch with you because I heard you can be discreet, and I've heard good things. It's important that I won't be tied to this in any way." Speaking of being tied, a former love of mine has a photograph of me in her possession that I need you to retrieve. Do that and I'll reward you greatly. I don't know what Matthew has been doing, but we are going to help him with his problem and see what that gets us. And the notification says, Matthew is looking forward to doing business with you. Get in touch with one of your enforcers to have them retrieve the photograph. And he did get a gold medal for the event. So of course he deserves a smoke break. Now he's calling one of his enforcers, Eric Lewis, to have Eric come to the park so he can send him on the mission to retrieve the photograph. And once you've interacted with the politician, you should have an interaction on the gang menu with one of your enforcers to send them on the mission to retrieve the photograph. So Eric is off on his mission, but I'm gonna skip ahead to the part where he returns. So it is the next day and Eric has returned from the mission. So we're gonna see if he was able to successfully retrieve the photograph. Get mission update, and let's see what he says. He said, here you go, boss. I had to ruffle some feathers, but it wasn't any problem. Talk to your right-hand man to set up a new meeting with Matthew Wiseman. I guess it's a mission aborted if your enforcer is not able to come back with the photo, but mine was, so we did go ahead and have Jordan set up the meeting with Matthew Wiseman. This time we are going to the Magnolia Blossom Park in Willow Creek. So after getting the small talk out of the way, we have the option to either return the photograph or attempt blackmail. Quentin does not want any problems, so he did return the photograph. Let's see what Matthew has to say. He said, I knew you had it in you, kid. I told you you wouldn't regret this. You got your connections, I have mine. And I know for a fact that there's an undergoing investigation against you and your business. Say the word and I'll tell them to back off for a while, or you could save me the hassle and I'll rather transfer some simoleons directly into your account. So what's it gonna be? Quentin needs protection more than money, so he asked for the protection. And hopefully Matthew comes through. I don't know why Jordan said he wasn't trustworthy, but Matthew said it's a wise decision. I'm sure you will hear from me again. Matthew Wiseman is pleased with doing business with you. So Quentin has been working so hard and spending so much time away from home that he had to go home and get some rest and also catch up with his booze. The very next day, he was back at the gang headquarters on his grind, thugging it out, and he got a weird phone call from Demetrius. Demetrius said, I am wealthy, very wealthy. Just last month, I bought Social Bunny and Cupid's Corner, just straight up bought them. You caught my eye and I was hoping to get the chance to meet you in person. I know it's a lot to ask, but I have gifts for you. What do you say? Perhaps no thanks, weirdo. We are gonna say no thanks, weirdo. And he responded with, fair enough, I have to get back to running Social Bunny anyways, which involves posting at least 12 incoherent posts a day. Okay, whatever. Sounds like a setup to me. I don't know what would have happened if he actually went and met up with Demetrius. But anyway, he did level up later on that day. So he's now a leader rank 8 and he can now hire 2 bodyguards from the gang menu on his phone. And before he could hire the bodyguards, he got the notification that says your connection down at the station just informed you there is a raid incoming. So another raid. I don't know if Matthew Wiseman did this, but I thought that Quentin was going to be safer and that Matthew Wiseman was going to call in a favor. But of course he hid the drugs, and of course there was a raid. And of course I hit pause and had Quentin travel to the Stargazer strip club to celebrate outrunning the feds again. He also got some work done while he was there, and he was able to hire his bodyguards. So Quentin is going to hire one of his friends and high-profile coke clients, Ignacio Lopez, as a bodyguard. I don't really know how that's going to affect him being a client, but he's also hired Valentina Nadir, and he wasn't able to meet them until the next day because Valentina was sleeping, but when he did meet her, he had an instant attraction. So I don't know how that's gonna go. In other news, Quentin had to go home and finally get some rest after all that craziness, and Aikido showed up saying that he has returned from a mission. Now, based on his face, I don't know if he has good news. But if he doesn't, this time we're going to take it a little bit further than just reprimanding him or talking to him. See, he said, well, we showed up with a few guys, but they brought their entire crew. We barely made it out of there alive. I mean, he always has an excuse, but guess what? This time we're going to discipline him a little bit more harshly. So we are going to give him a beating. And I hope that this improves Akito's behavior, because he is just so disloyal, and he has little babies at home. Like, I'm pretty sure Marisol had the babies by now. He needs to get it together. And now he wants to cry. Quentin should not have had to discipline a grown ass sim, but he did. So I hope that improves for Akito. But anyway, I am now about to skip to the level up. Because he did. Quentin leveled up to level 9. It says he can now send his enforcers into his rival gang's turf to take over their corners. Talk to Quentin's right-hand man for more details. I'm not going to get into that, because as far as I know, it's just another interaction, clicking on your enforcers and they go take over turf, and then your sim gets a cut. So I had Quentin take a little time off because he just needed a break from a gang banging and thugging. So he took some time, and I just want to show y'all what happened on the night before Winterfest. So it is Winterfest Eve. Quentin went to the Cheetah Lodge, which is another strip club / place that sells woohoo, and also Elena's workplace. So Elena still has a job that she never goes to. She works at the Cheetah Lodge as a dancer. And while they were both there were 2 deaths at the pool at the Cheetah Lodge. Elena pleaded, but she could not save Daisuke Yokoyama. I think that's his name. And so eventually they went home on Winterfest morning to enjoy Winterfest. Michaela was there as well, and they really tried to have a good Winterfest. But they were interrupted quite a bit. It was either because New Crest Thug members keep coming through, and then they got the notification again that your connection down at the station just informed you that there is a raid incoming. And you know what? I don't even know if it's really worth stashing the drugs, because they can't come. They just come regardless. And of course, yet again, I had Quentin run. I don't know if this is about to be his life or what, but he escaped back to the New Crest headquarters. And I'm gonna skip ahead again to the next level up, because he did max out his gang leader skill this time, and he is a leader rank 10. He can now oversee huge drug shipments. Talk to Quentin's right-hand man for more details. A new item can also be found in Quentin's household inventory. So the item that can be found in your Sim's inventory in this case is a desk called the Montana with a pile of coke on it. The coke really does nothing. It's just for decoration, if you want to call it that. But I did upgrade the gang headquarters and give Quentin a little backroom office with the Montana. And now we are going to get some information from our right-hand man about overseeing huge drug shipments. And it says, to oversee huge shipments of a drug, click on your phone and select oversee huge shipment. You will then travel to Selva Dorada along with a couple of gang members of your choosing. Once you arrive, you will receive a phone call with more details. Note, if you do not own the required expansion pack for the location, you must choose to send your gang members on the mission instead. They will return in a few days' time. So I noticed that there's also another option under the gang menu, which was to purchase an illegal gambling venue. And it says that you must first edit the lot you want to purchase and assign the appropriate gang illegal gambling venue. Go to Manage Worlds, edit a lot, and change the venue type. Once you are done with that, talk to your right-hand man to purchase the venue. So I'm not going to do that because that does require integration with the Basemental Gambling Mod. I do have that mod as well, but I don't want to get into that here. So we're just going to stick to Basemental Gangs. And I'm going to have Quentin go to Selva Dorada and see if it's beneficial. Is there any difference between doing it this way or doing it the Basemental Drugs way, which is to just show up and then get the information for the hookup from the bar. But in this case, it's now on the phone. He has an option to oversee a huge drug shipment. So we are going to travel to Selva Dorada with his bodyguards, Valentina Nadir, and Dominic Calvert. He's just trying to hook up with Valentina, so he wants to mix business with pleasure and spend a little time with her. Shortly after arriving in Selva Dorada, Quentin got a text from Jordan Cottrell that says he's good to hear he's arrived safe, and he just talked to the Selva Doradian associates and they're ready to see him now. So he's gonna accept and select Sims to travel with. He only has Valentina as a choice, so I guess Valentina is coming with him. So we have another gold event and we are going to introduce ourselves. In this case, we have to actually convince this guy that we're legit. So we have some different interactions, and once he trusts us, I guess we can buy some Coke and get a good deal on Coke. So we have to pay him first though. So I don't know, paying him before we even get the product seems a little sketchy, but Quentin, again, he takes risk, he can lose money. He paid this guy $75,000. So let's see what this $75,000 got him in his inventory. So he has some crates filled with cocaine, and it says what's inside them. Could it be something amazing or nothing at all? And the world will never know, because this is where we are going to end Quentin's gang story. He has maxed out his skill. He's going to continue to gangbang. I'm going to continue to play, but he's going to go home and get some rest. And I'm going to get some rest too, because I have put a lot into making these videos. So I truly hope that you enjoy them. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.